All right, folks, with so many different issues impacting the United States right now, the ongoing government shutdown, the fact that SNAP and Head Start and other government programs that people rely on expired at midnight, you'd think that the President of the United States and the party that controls the Senate, the House, and basically the entire government would be trying to work on a solution here, would be trying to solve this problem altogether, but that's not what happened today. Donald Trump instead used his time to go on a long, very crazy social media rant all day. It was just post after post after post talking about the most random topics that you can imagine. So I want to show you some of Donald Trump's posts because I do think it's important to cover his insanity, and I think this also ties into his mental decline. But regardless, before we get into all of that, make sure to subscribe down below, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about this story. And of course, I want to check in once more and just let me know how you guys are doing in the comments with everything, the insanity that we wake up to every day with this lunatic in the Oval Office. But without further ado, I want to start here where today, 5:47 p.m., November 1st, Donald Trump put out this social media post attacking his own party and attacking the filibuster, which he has been in favor of for quite some time. And then it only really gets worse from here. He claims that criticisms of him are illegal in a later post, but we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Donald Trump said, "Remember, Republicans, regardless of the Schumer shutdown," I guess that's the tagline they're going with here, even though, again, they control the entire government, "the Democrats will terminate the filibuster the first chance they get. They will pack the Supreme Court, pick up 2 states, and add at least 8 electoral votes, I should say," which sounds great, by the way. "Their 2 objectors are gone. Don't be weak and stupid. Fight, fight, fight. Win, win, win. We will immediately end the extortionist shutdown, get all of our agenda passed, and make life so good for Americans that these deranged Democrat politicians will never again have the chance to destroy America. Republicans, you will rue the day that you didn't terminate the filibuster. Be tough, smart, and win. This is much bigger than the shutdown. This is the survival of our country." And so what Donald Trump is talking about here is just the other day, he came out in favor of getting rid of the filibuster, even though previously he said that when some Democrats suggested that, it was basically the equivalence of treason. That's, Donald Trump's words, or at least the implication he made previously. And now in this post, he's specifically going after the Republicans who push back on this almost immediately after Donald Trump put out his original Truth Social post calling for the termination of the filibuster. A bunch of Republicans came out and said, not much, not doing it. Leader Thune, who is, of course, the Senate Majority Leader, said that his position on the importance of the legislative filibuster is unchanged. For Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso, they said Senator Barrasso's support of the filibuster is unchanged. Senator John Curtis, Republican from Utah, on Friday said that he was a firm no on getting rid of the filibuster, and I guess Donald Trump didn't like that. And so he's saying that Republicans may rue the day that they didn't get rid of it. He's just turning his sights on his own party. They humiliated him time and time again, not only with the filibuster thing, but also they voted to overturn a lot of his tariffs. So Donald Trump is having a bad week in terms of that loyalty that he expects from many of the elected officials in his party. But that's just one of the many crazy posts that Donald Trump put out. Here's another one where I guess we're going to war with Nigeria now. That's Donald Trump's position. He said, "If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns ablazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of Defense to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it'll be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast." So he is pretty clearly warning warning for war. He's saying, we will do this, or his phrase is guns a-blazing. He wants to go in, put more American troops in danger, perhaps lose American lives, and for this goal, I guess, of stopping the killing of Christians. And of course, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that to happen. But I just remember Donald Trump said he was anti-war. The whole principle of being anti-war and being America first is that, at least according to Donald Trump before the election, was that, even if there's something bad happening around the world, it's not the United States' problem. It's not our goal to go in there. And now Donald Trump, at every opportunity he gets, tries to go into another country and invade them. I mean, it looks like we're going to war with Venezuela. He's already bombed Iran as well. So add this to the mix. And Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, also said The Department of War is preparing for action. Either the Nigerian government protects Christians or we kill the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. So they are preparing for action, which means war, which means military conflict. Here's another post from Donald Trump. And so far, we've already seen Trump in one day, might I add. All of this happened in a 24-hour period. Actually less, I will say. Probably more like a 4-hour period. We've already seen Donald Trump attack his own party. We've already seen him sort of like soft declare war on Nigeria. And now he's back to celebrating himself. He said at 4:11, my G2 meeting with President Xi of China was a great one for both of our countries. This meeting will lead to everlasting peace and success. God bless both China and the USA. Donald Trump has gone weak on China. You know, he always said that he was the tough guy on China. He was always going to hold them accountable. But I think this CNN headline tells you everything you need to know. After Trump trade meeting, it's advantage Xi. And they're right. The meeting did not secure a broad trade deal, but rather a return to an uneasy truce built on a handful of agreements meant to keep the relationship steady as the two sides move forward. Xi walked away with a 10% reduction in 30% tariffs newly imposed by Trump on Chinese goods this year in exchange for ramping up efforts to control its role in the U.S. fentanyl crisis. He also secured U.S. agreement to put on hold a new rule that would have vastly expanded the number of Chinese companies blacklisted from buying sensitive American tech. So isn't that something? Putting a hold on that rule that very explicitly benefits China. Trump averted Beijing imposing an expanded set of restrictions that it could have hamstrung global industries reliant on China's rare earth minerals. China will also ramp up purchases of both U.S. soybeans and other agricultural products. Both sides also paused port fees targeting each other's shipping sectors and will extend a truce on more elevated tariffs. On paper, it looks like a reasonable exchange and one that delivers, at least for now, what both leaders wanted. But for Beijing, the agreements, which also came with a side of effusive praise from Trump for Xi, are also a clear confirmation of the success of its strategy on how to handle Trump 2.0. That's because Beijing has been able to win valuable concessions on tariffs and export controls while primarily conceding measures they only put out as retaliation against those from the US in the first place. So that simple analysis right there tells us a different picture than what Trump is saying, that it was a great meeting, will lead to peace and everlasting success and things like that. Not so fast. I think China has played him once again. And perhaps maybe the most insane post of the day came from Trump, of course, at 4:01 p.m., talking about Seth Meyers. He said Seth Meyers of NBC may be the least talented person to perform live in the history of television. In fact, he may be the worst to perform live or otherwise. And I said in a different video that this can't possibly be true. Regardless of your feelings of Seth Meyers, it can't be true because Donald Trump has been on TV before. He is definitely the worst. I mean, it's really bottom of the barrel with him. I watched his show the other night for the first time in years. In it, he talked endlessly about electric catapults on aircraft carriers, which I complain about as not being as good as much less expensive steam catapults. On and on he went, a truly deranged lunatic. Yeah, he's the deranged one, not the guy who's typing in all caps in the middle of the day, but sure. Why does NBC waste its time and money on a guy like this? No talent, no ratings, 100% anti-Trump, which is probably illegal. Well, look at that. Donald Trump making it clear how he feels about free speech once again. Any criticism of him is, according to him, probably illegal. Even if somebody criticizes Donald Trump 100% of the time, according to him, it's probably illegal. Now, Donald Trump, I think, is going to start reducing this number. 50% anti-Trump, illegal, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 1. Any percentage Donald Trump believes should be illegal if you're criticizing him. Now, the reality is Seth Meyers, who is very funny, by the way, makes fun of Donald Trump in a hilarious way, using his First Amendment right to call out a wannabe dictator is one of the most American things you can do, and also entirely protected by the First Amendment. Now, I'm not expecting Donald Trump or the people in line with him to care about the law or the Constitution, but it's written right there. You can see it for yourself. It's right there. So, these are just four, might I add. We've only looked at four of Donald Trump's insane posts today. There are many, many more where he's congratulating players, golfers, and things like that, talking about his interview tomorrow in 60 Minutes and more. He just really spent the day uploading things on Truth Social. It just goes on and on and on. It's crazy. So anyway, look, I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I just had to show you some of these posts. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about these posts. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.